Hello everybody! Today in Environmental and Climate Change chapter, we will discuss about how governments can design and implement policies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and adapt to climate impacts. But before that, let me introduce Group 7 team members that will be present about today's topic. We got Asdreen, Irdina, Eliza, Mara, and Hannah. These are today's contents that will be discussed. Let's start with our first presenter, Asdreen.
Hi and Assalamualaikum. In this slide, I will discuss an introduction of our presentation today about how government can design and implement policies to reduce greenhouse gas emission and adapt to climate impact. In the past few years, environmental and climate change issues has become more important in the political and economic life of the people around the world. The Earth's climate has gotten a lot warmer because of the fast rise in the greenhouse gas emissions, which are mostly caused by human activities like burning fossil fuels, cutting down trees, and using industrial processes. The warming of the Earth's atmosphere has caused many bad things to happen, such as more stronger weather events, rising sea levels, ecosystem destruction, and threats to food security. Because of this problem, governments around the world are under more and more pressure to make and enforce rules that not only lower greenhouse gas emission but also help people deal with the effects of climate change that can be stopped. It has never been clearer how important it is for countries to work together to solve environmental and climate problems. There is no doubt that the environment and the global economy are linked. For example, climate change has an impact on many areas of the economics, from trade and finance to agriculture and energy. It is hard for government to protect the health and well-being of their citizens while also promoting economic growth and protecting the environment. In this situation, making and enforcing rules to lower greenhouse gas emissions and prepare for climate impact has become the main topic of political and economic discussion around the world. Governments are realizing that they need to work together on a global level to effectively fight climate change because not doing anything will have effects that go far beyond national borders. This problem has many parts, so we need a complete plan that includes both reducing the effects of climate change and adapting to them, while also taking into account how each country is different and what it can do. To really make progress in these areas, government need to think about a lot of different policies options. For example, they could set a high goal to cut emissions and put in place ways to price carbon. They could also invest in infrastructure for renewable energy and encourage sustainable land use practices. Adapting to the effects of climate change that are unavoidable also requires action like making infrastructure more resilient, making sure people are better prepared for disaster, and making sure vulnerable groups have access to clean water and food security. Today's presentation, we will dive more in the world of international political economy, where look at how government can deal with the many environmental and climate problems that come up. We will look at the different policy tools and strategies they can use to cut down on the greenhouse gas emission and get ready for the effects of climate change, while keeping in mind that each country has different needs and wants. We want to add to the global conversations about how to solve the environmental and the climate crisis and make the future more stable and sustainable for everyone by shedding lights on these important issues. Now, I'm going to pass to the next presenter.
Hi, I am Irdina Izzati binti Razali and I'm going to continue with the design policies to reduce greenhouse gas emission by government. Governments are key players in the process of creating efficient policies to cut greenhouse gas emissions, which is essential for combating climate change. These laws have to take a broad stance that incorporates incentives, public involvement, and regulatory frameworks. The designated policies that government needed to put highlights on are policy frameworks and targets, investment in renewable energy, sustainable transportation policies, carbon pricing and regulations, and public awareness and education. Firstly, a comprehensive policy framework is needed to reduce greenhouse gas emissions in key industries like transportation, energy, manufacturing, and agriculture. This framework should have quantifiable time-bound objectives, encourage the use of renewable energy, enforce stronger fuel economy regulations, and set emission reduction goals for businesses. This will provide a roadmap for companies and individuals to align their activities with national environmental goals, ensuring a more sustainable future. Government play a crucial role in promoting renewable energy sources such as solar, wind, and hydropower by investing in and promoting their use. Policies should support the advancements of those technologies using tax breaks, subsidies, and also incentives. Government can promote job creation, economic growth, and a sustainable future by prioritizing renewable energy infrastructure investment and partnering with the business sector to scale up projects. Together with that, transportation contributes significantly to greenhouse gas emissions. Government can promote electric car, public transport, and active transportation options like walking and cycling. Setting emission limits and offering financial incentives can accelerate the transition to eco-friendly vehicles. Additionally, investing in smart city programs like carpooling lanes and upgrading public transport network can reduce emissions and improve overall transportation efficiency. Governments can encourage companies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions by implementing carbon pricing mechanisms like carbon taxes programs. These policies increase the cost of pollutions, but strict environmental laws should be implemented to monitor and enforce emission levels. Government can ensure all industries contribute to climate change efforts and level the playing field by making firms accountable for their environmental impact. Last but not least, public involvement. It is crucial for effective strategies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. Government should fund educational initiatives and awareness, effort to educate the public about the impact of lifestyle choices on the environment, supporting sustainable behavior, encouraging energy conservation, and cultivating environmental consciousness can lead to widespread behavioral change. Tax credits for energy efficient home upgrade can encourage eco-friendly habits. The successful execution of government programs depend on public knowledge and support. In conclusion, effective government policies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions require a multifaceted approach, combining all those designated policies, as said earlier, create a holistic framework for mitigating climate change. As the global community grapples on with the urgent need to address environmental challenges, government must take a proactive role in sharpening policies that foster sustainability and combat the adverse effect of greenhouse gas emissions. That's all from me. Thank you. I'm passed to the next presenter, Hana.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. My name is Hana Rahman Nabila and I will be presenting about the implementation of the policies to reduce greenhouse gas emission. The first point is carbon taxes, which include carbon dioxide, damage the atmosphere, and influence the climate. Carbon taxes aim to reduce emissions by compelling the greatest greenhouse gas emitters, such as coal-fired power stations, and also to pay for the harm that they created. Moreover, government can use the money raised by these fees to fund social programs, invest in sustainable energy, or decrease taxes for the public. The second point, which is cap and trade system. The terms cap and trade refers to a government program that limits the private sector greenhouse gas emissions. In cap and trade systems, government issues or sell a fixed number of permits, each representing the right to release a particular amount of greenhouse gases. If corporation need more permission to manufacture its product, it must trade with another company to obtain them. Thirdly is clean energy standards. In the United States, power generation account of around 31% of the country's greenhouse gas emissions. These standards are regulatory frameworks that encourage utility firms to migrate to low-emission energy sources such as solar or wind power, followed by the next one, which is the international agreements. In 2020, the Secretary General of the United nation emphasized the need to achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050 to limit global warming to 1.5 degrees Celsius. This proclamation emphasized the global dimension of climate, requiring a coordinated worldwide effort to overcome its difficulties. Lastly is adaptation policies. Increasing frequency and intensity of extreme weather events such as heat waves, hurricanes, and flood highlight the critical need for proactive steps to minimize the effects of climate change. In response, governments worldwide have created adaptation programs to increase resilience at all levels. Furthermore, many governments are working to ensure that their adaptation programs meet the needs of low-income population who will be disproportionately affected by climate change. For example, the United States Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program assists poor populations in covering heating and cooling expenditure during heat waves or harsh winters. Okay, that is all from me, and I will pass to the next presenter. Thank you.
Alright, so how do we adapt and navigate to these climate change issues and align it with international political economic state as for 2024? There are a few integration strategies that I would like to present today. So firstly is through international cooperation and agreements. By encouraging and participating in global treaties addressing climate change, we could advocate for climate-related clauses in trade agreements. For example, what has been going now, we emphasizing on sustainability products and also global supply chain. Secondly, is green diplomacy. Incorporate climate considerations could put into diplomatic efforts and negotiation. We could foster alliances with environmentally aligned nations. We could use diplomacy to address climate-induced economic challenges that has been that has been faced by so many companies through their through their climate change induced product efforts, the effects on their economic challenges as well. So third point is carbon pricing and trade policies. By exploring carbon pricing mechanisms, we could internalize environmental costs. We could actually learn to how to integrate carbon considerations into trade policies. For example, through tariffs and also incentives. As for the fourth point is investment in sustainable technologies. This global effort has to be encouraged as in global investment in clean, sustainable technologies. We could facilitate the transfer of green technologies from developed nations to the rest of developing nations. For example, is machines that clean up rubbish from the ocean and also recycling machines. We need to enhance the effort globally so that as a global effect, we will empower more on sustainable technologies, machines, and clean energy as well. So as for the fifth point is risk management and assessment. Including climate risk assessment in economic and political analysis as per every quarter of the year, we could actually develop strategies for managing global economic impacts and global effects of climate events towards to the economy of every nation. By having this risk assessment, we could actually understanding the situation and develop strategies beforehand for the next year or the next quarter of the year. And then for the sixth point is promotion of renewable energy. As for what we have mentioned before, we should invest on more sustainable technologies. So we also need to promote renewable energy in order to support global transition to fully renewable energy. By promoting international collaboration on clean energy technologies, we should consider the main objective is we could achieve an energy security in international relations and its link to climate change. Because at the moment, for example, Malaysia, we are using petroleum. Petroleum is non-renewable energy. So sooner or later, in maybe 10 to 50 years time, the energy that we're using now through petroleum will not last till the next generation, for example. So if we change to renewable energy, for example, wind energy, solar energy, that is that is more predictable to sustain over a long time, which is more clean and renewable energy that is more secure in terms of energy security rather than petroleum. So for the seventh point is adapting financing. We should advocate for international financial mechanisms in supporting vulnerable regions. For example, in Southeast Asia, in South Africa, and a lot of vulnerable regions. We should explore innovative financing models in incentivizing sustainable practices. This is to impact the global effort as well. It's not just the developing nations or developed nations that will be having the benefit.
Hi everyone, my name is Nur Eliza. I will explain about the recommendation and conclusion. Okay, for the first recommendation is fostering international collaboration. Fostering international collaboration is crucial as climate change is a global issue that requires collective action. Government can engage in diplomatic effort to strengthen international agreement and partnership. Encourage the sharing of technologies, best practice, and financial resource to support sustainable development across the border. For the second recommendation is creating a comprehensive regulatory framework. Comprehensive regulatory framework is essential. Government can set ambitious emissions and reduction to target the implement regulation that incentivize business and industry to adapt cleaner technologies and practice. Establishing a robust carbon pricing mechanism such as cap and trade or carbon taxes can provide economic incentives for emissions reduction while generating revenue for further investment in sustainable initiatives. Okay, for the third recommendation is investing in research and development. Investing in research and development is pivotal for driving innovation in renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, and climate resilient infrastructure. Government can allocate funds to support scientific research and development of new technologies, creating a pipeline for solutions that can address both mitigation and adaptation challenges. This approach can stimulate economic growth while contributing to long-term environmental sustainability. For the fourth recommendation is enhancing public awareness and engagement, crucial for the success of climate policy. Government can implement educational programs to inform citizens about the impact of climate change, the importance of emission reduction, and the need of adaptation measures. Public support can be instrumental in ensuring the successful implementation of policy and fostering a sense of shared responsibility. Okay, for the conclusion, that tackling the serious problem caused by climate change need a multifaceted approach. This includes both creating and enforcing effective government policy to the lower greenhouse gas emission and adapting strategy to deal with the effect of changing climate. To effectively lower emission, government must put a high priority on creating through science-based policy that focus on key areas that cause the greenhouse gas problem. This could mean giving people incentive to use clean energy, controlling pollution from factories, and encourage environmentally friendly habits. At the same time, building resilient infrastructure, adapting land use planning, and making early warning system are all important part of adapting to the effect of climate change. For long-term sustainability and reducing possibly terrible effect of climate change, it is important to take a comprehensive approach that combines effort to reduce the effect of climate change and those to adapt to them. By encourage business community and government to work together, we can make the future of our world more stable and long-lasting. That's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you. See you again.